The real question of the topic that I will address today probably is not if global warming exists or not. Rather than that, the question will be how bad is our current situation? This fantastic world is sick and is getting worse and worse. So join me to make a diagnostic about what is our current situation. Now, let's imagine that someone comes to you and asks you, what is global warming? Would you be able to answer that question? If not, don't feel bad about it. A research at the University of California found that while most people believe that global warming is happening and is caused by human activity, very few people could explain the basic science about this topic. While 12% understood that greenhouse gases had something to do with, no one was able to explain how this happened. Now, let's review how this is happening. So, let's review my little draw. So, Earth transforms sun visible light into energy infrared light, which leaves Earth. With the increase of greenhouse gases, with this process becomes slower, making light to stay to heat up the world. So it's something pretty simple. The major natural greenhouse gases are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and ozone. The climate is in a perpetual change from the ice age to sub-desert climates. The human intervention is to speed up this process, and this is known as a global warming. So there are reasons for this. Now, the first reason that we will discuss about it is the deforestation. The trees play a big role in reducing the CO2, so our rate of deforestation is imbalancing the capacity of the nature to process the CO2. According to the United Nations, 60 acres of tropical forest are felled every minute. Not only trees absorb CO2, reducing the amount that would otherwise reach the atmosphere, but the burning of trees, which create CO2 and other greenhouse gases, accounts for around 20% of all man-made emissions. Now, more than 80% of the worldwide energy demand is currently supplied by the fossil fuels or gas. The greenhouse effects have been largely caused by the burning of fossil fuels from cars to power stations to airplanes that create the CO2 emission. Now, after reviewing the main topics, the why this is happening, so let's review some consequences of this. So first of all, rising in world temperature. The main outcome of the greenhouse effect is overall rise in the air temperature. 1 or 2 degrees might not sound like a lot, but have a big consequences to our environment. Melting the ice cap. The Antarctic has lost a third of its ice since weather records for the region began in 1970, as the rate of melting is increasing. Rising sea level. Increasing the sea level with potentially devastation flood risks to coastal areas across the world, including cities like New York, London. An Australian study revealed that sea level have risen by almost 2 centimeters every year since 1870, a lot considering the size of the seas. Extreme weather conditions, floods, monsoon, hurricanes, heat waves, all these weather conditions are happening often. Many locations have reached break weather conditions in both sides, cold and heat, that generate water shortage to many areas. Increasing wildfires and extreme precipitations are also other consequences. Changing in ecosystems. According to Friends of the Earth, a recent study suggests that a quarter of land of animals and plants altogether, a million species, could be made extinct by the middle of the century. Changes to natural habitats caused by rising temperatures, water level, and climate are already creating a new challenge to ecosystems. Agriculture, we will probably feel this problem in a few years. The plants will have find harder to survive. The plants are a major source of food. Shortage of food might lead to wars or civil conflict. The health risk. As more carbon dioxide is trapped in the atmosphere, breathable air becomes harder to come. If global warming continues, the U.S. is looking at, for example, $60 billion to combat respiratory disease and symptoms. The reduction of fresh air will be another harmful effect. And this will have really bad consequences in our economies. Also, the economies, developing economies like China and India are increasing and their industrialization, they are increasing their level of emission of greenhouse gases. And also, some other countries are not committed to help in this problem. For example, the United States, which is the single largest carbon emitter of CO2, which is carbon dioxide. The lesson for global warming is to base all decisions on deep respect and consideration for nature. Small changes in big amount of people generate a great change. The decision to change is not in big country, it's in every person life.